Welcome to the Global Quilt Connection, where you will hear from teachers who are ready to present live virtual lectures and classes to your group or guild. First up, we have Kate Colleran.
Hi, I'm Kate Colleran from SeemsLikeADream.shop. I'm a quilter, quilt pattern designer, lecturer, and teacher. I've had classes on both the Craftsy platform as well as Quilting Daily, but my favorite thing to do is to come and share my quilts and my designs and tips with other quilters. I would love to tell you about some of the lectures I have available. My first lecture is called Journey of a Quilt Pattern Designer. I talk about how I got into quilting, how I got into my quilting business, and the various opportunities that came along the way, and where I share a lot of quilts and talk about color and design. My second lecture is called Smash Your Stash, because we all have one of those, right? I talk about how our stashes come to be, how to store them, organize them, and then how to use them. I even share some quilts from my book, How to Smash Your Pre-Cut Stash, though I don't just focus on pre-cuts. And in my third lecture, my new one, it's called Modern Traditionalism. Because if you're a modern quilter, you might think I'm a little traditional. And if you're a traditional quilter, you might think I'm a little modern, because I'm a blend of both. So I love to talk about the modern aesthetic and talk about how to use color and design in our quilts to add that little touch. So I also have classes available. Now, one of my more popular classes is my Pack It Up bag. It's this wonderful little bag that you can just use to stuff things in. I use my mini braid template, and I teach you how to cut with it, how to sew your braid, and put your bag together, including an easy zipper. Now, most of my patterns can be made into a class. One of my more popular quilt patterns is Spiral Galaxy. This is a great class. It's paper piecing, and what's really fun is we talk a lot about color, because you change where you put the color in this, and you can change the look of your quilt. Now, another quilt class that I love to do is from my book. The quilt is called Gardenesque. It has this beautiful flower block. So we focus a lot on technique in this block. We talk about half square triangles, how to make those little stems, and also the border blocks for the quilt, as well as that pesky 1/4 inch seam. I would love to come and share my lectures and classes with you, with your guild and your shop. So please contact me. You can reach me at info@seemslikeadream.com. My name is Kate Colleran, and I can't wait to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kate. Now we'll hear from Michele Crawford.
Hi, my name is Michele Crawford, and I live in Spokane, Washington. The name of my company is Flower Box Quilts. I love to sew, I love to quilt, and I especially love to teach. And these are all evident in my patterns, books, and classes. As a virtual quilter and lecturer and teacher, I am going to be using a Zoom platform, using a 2-camera setup so that you can see me and also my work area. I offer a session with my students ahead of time in case they have any questions or want to do fabric choices. And I also host another one about 2 weeks later, where if they have any other questions, they can ask and we can do a show and tell. I have 3 different lectures, both virtual and live. Number 1, the value of color. How do you use color in your life in quilts? Lecture number 2, it's called Just Cut the Scrap. Learn my formula to create scrap quilts using color value to offer contrast, depth, and movement in your quilt. And the last one is Let's Explore the World of English Paper Piecing. This lecture is an overview plus an inspiration as to what English paper piecing actually entails. I have 4 different categories of classes: scrappy, piecing, handwork, and English paper piecing. I teach my techniques for accurate measuring, cutting, and the 3 Ps, pinning, piecing, and pressing in every class. My mantra is no scrap left behind. My scrappy quilt classes are for all skill levels and using what you already have in your fabric stash. My goal as a teacher is to encourage you to be creative using your stash. Please refer to the class descriptions for my piecing classes on flowerboxquilts.com. All of my English paper piecing classes feature how to create one or more EPP shapes, whether they are technique-only classes for the beginner and or technique and project-oriented for the more advanced student. We've got it all. EPP classes are a great way for you to use your fabric stash in a unique way. Again, please refer to the class descriptions on flowerboxquilts.com. Whether it is through a class, a book, or a pattern, whether live or virtual, I am here to help you create a quilt that blooms from your heart. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy quilting.
Thank you, Michele. Now I'd like to introduce Susan Deshensky.
Hi, my name is Susan Deshensky. Some people just call me Sue D. My business name is Lady Blue Quilt Studio. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. You can also come visit www.ladybluequilts.com. I am a certified instructor for Quiltworks, Judy Niemeyer Quilting. I can also teach Quiltworks patterns such as Desert Sky, Twinkle Star, and Fractured Paint Box, as well as many others. And I'm also a GEM affiliate for MJ Kinman Textile Artists. I can teach Catherine and Elizabeth and her monthly birthstone gem patterns. I have currently 3 presentations available. The first being Montana Bound, My Quiltworks Journey. The second presentation is Put Some Bling into Your Life. And lastly, Every Quilt Has a Story, Making and Designing T-shirt and Memory Quilts. Thanks for stopping by and seeing my presentation, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you, Susan. Lori Dickman is our next presenter.
Hi, my name is Lori Dickman, and I'm excited to share with you about the virtual lectures and workshops that I have available directly from my studio. First of all, I want to welcome you to my website, quiltingwithlori.com. In my website, you'll find all kinds of information about me, but specifically the detailed information on my lectures and workshops. My virtual events help to engage each viewer with front row seats and close-up views of all my quilts and techniques, and it helps to establish a sense of inspiration and confident knowledge in the techniques that I'm teaching them. The presentations also are created in a professional and artistic manner, and that helps to draw the viewer in. My lectures average about 45 minutes to an hour each. I have 4 different lectures. This one is my favorite 3Ds, diamonds, Dresdens, and Drunkard's paths. It features over 30 of my favorite 3D quilt designs. Quilting templates have always been my go-to tools for piecing fast and fun quilts. And in this lecture, you're going to be inspired to pick up those template rulers and have fun designing and piecing fabulous quilts. In my Speedy Solutions to Cut and Organize Your Scrap Stash, you're going to learn the tools of my trade, my scrapping rule, and how I sort and identify value, and all my speedy methods of turning an unorganized stash of fabrics into beautifully organized scraps stored by size, value, or theme. In this lecture, each attendee does receive 2 free PDF patterns, and this particular lecture does have a corresponding techniques book and patterns book. In my Art and Landscape Quilts by Lori, I demonstrate techniques on how I portray my love of art and nature. This lecture will inspire you with my applique, my thread, and pixel and collage techniques, and I'll also demonstrate my love of scraps in my art quilts that help to create visual eye appeal and drama. In my 4th lecture, For the Love of Quilting Made Easy, this lecture offers a wonderful overview of the entire quilting process, along with tips that I've learned over the past quarter century. My workshops are between 3 and 6 hours each. You can find out full details on each of them on my website. In each of the workshops, I teach techniques from one of my patterns, and I offer great fun inspiration and ideas. My Ladybug Fly Away Home is an art quilt workshop. My Scrappy Periwinkle Basket or Table Runner is a paper piece workshop. My Sunny Dresden Wall Quilt is a Dresden's Template workshop. And my Fruity Melons Wall Quilt is a Drunkard's Path workshop. So for questions or bookings, please contact me, Lori Dickman, at quiltingwithlori@gmail.com, or you can contact me directly through my website, quiltingwithlori.com. I hope to hear from you soon. Happy quilting.
Thank you, Lori. Penni Domikis is up next.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Cabin in the Woods Quilters. We are a design and product manufacturing company located in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in business for the last 17 years. My name is Penni Domikis. I am the chief designer here at Cabin in the Woods. I am, in addition to being a teacher and a lecturer, I'm also an author, and I'm also part of the sales and marketing team for Michael Miller Fabrics. You can find out information of everything we're going to talk about today at cabinquilters.com. Currently on our website, we have 4 available lectures. Our first lecture is All Scrapped Out, which is all about scraps. We have a Color Conundrum lecture, which is all about mixing and matching color and a little bit of the color wheel and some of my secret scientific methods of putting those scraps together. We have an Information Overload lecture, which is all about navigating the tips and tricks that you may find on the web these days, watching your classes on YouTube. And our last lecture is Fabric 411, which is everything you may or may not have wanted to know about fabric. As your speaker for your guild or your shop, I consider myself your days or evenings entertainment. So in addition to learning a little bit, I hope that I can provide you with a really fun time for the day. In addition to those lectures that we have on the site, we also have 6 available classes. So let me take you over to the design wall and let's look at some of the samples. As you can see, we have a lot of colorful samples. So let me show you some of the classes we have available. So I mentioned our All Scrapped Out class. Here's one of the samples from those. And that's all about taking those scraps from your bin, putting them together, fabric auditioning, working through the color. It's really a lot of fun. I like to say you can't even make a mistake, and we just have a great time sewing what we have. We are a template manufacturer. In addition to having sewing templates and long arming templates, we also offer English paper piecing templates. So we have an English paper piecing class. Our Scrap Petal Garden class, which is probably the one that I'm most known for, uses our nested petal template. In front of me are some of the samples from our nested petal applique class. That's all about sewing by machine, but my tried and true methods of doing applique without fusible by machine. That one's a lot of fun, using our nested petal template as well. Over here we have a sample of our pickle dish class. Our pickle dish class is a beginning foundation piecing and beginner curved piecing, and if you already are comfortable with the beginning part of foundation piecing, we have some additional designs that you can use that challenge your skill. We also have a Seasons of Scraps class, which uses our seasonal silhouettes with Michael Miller Fabrics and our improvisational backgrounds, really using your scraps and your color. So if you head on over to cabinquilters.com, you can find all the information on our available lectures and classes, along with pictures and samples.
Thank you, Penni. Kathy Doughty is up next.
Hi, I'm Kathy Doughty from Material Obsession in Sydney, Australia. Like you, I'm an obsessive quilter. I want to keep learning, and I want to keep exploring the different avenues of patchwork. At this time, I'm very excited to be able to present both virtual lectures and workshops that I hope will inspire and enable you to find the very creative quilter that is in all of you. My lectures that are available now are Then to Now, which is a chronicle of what's happened in the patchwork and quilting industry since 2003 when I opened the shop. And it's through my eyes as a teacher, an author, and a fabric designer for Free Spirit Fabrics. I also offer a more targeted lecture called Organic Design, which is really about how I discovered how to make applique accessible to me. I always found it very frustrating to get the results that I wanted, but I've discovered some really simple techniques that mean applique can be accessible to everyone, beginner through to expert. You will enjoy my workshops if you've ever been afraid, intimidated, or insecure about your fabric choices. All of my workshops contain a section on talking about fabric and breaking down the mystery of what goes with what and how to achieve interesting results. All of my workshops also will include technical demonstrations that are interactive with an overhead camera so that you can see clearly how I am achieving the results that I am achieving. My workshops will fall under basic categories. If you're interested in working color and fabric with your stash, I would recommend Soul Searching, which really delves into your habits of collecting and hunting for fabric and how you might be able to expand that stash. Taking Shapes, which is workshops based on simple shapes like a wedge or a 60-degree ruler, but by using something simple and repetitive, you can really dive into how you're creating line, shape, and form in your quilts. And then thirdly, the organic design, organic applique workshops, which either focus in conjunction with my book, Organic Applique, or work more open-endedly to work through the spaces in your quilts, borders, blocks, and medallions. All of my classes are supportive of you as an individual achieving the best results possible for you as a quilter. I love the fact that you'll be alone in your own space, able to hear your own thoughts, access all of your own materials, and really be the best quilter that you can be. Find me on materialobsession.com or follow me on my socials, Material Obsession, Matt Obsgirl, or Facebook. I really look forward to getting to know you virtually through these available options.
Thank you, Kathy. Now I'd like to introduce Jan Doyle.
Hi, I'm Jan Doyle. Thank you for watching. What I'm going to do is going to take a little awkward moment, but I am going to hit screen share and start a PowerPoint video that I have waiting to come on. And this PowerPoint video will help me explain what I want to do. This is a title slide that I have for my business, and this is how you can reach me on the internet or how you can reach me by phone if you're interested. And please contact me with any additional questions. Of course, everybody does in-person interviews. However, it's a different time, and distance learning is what everything is all about right now. I offer several classes and workshops. My first one is thread painting from start to finish. I give you all the ins and outs about how to do thread painting. This is a picture of a chrysanthemum and a butterfly I took and then thread painted. It's a detail image. It's not the whole canvas because it's just easier for you to see some of the details. If you're not interested in doing the full immersion on taking your own photos, I offer kits for you to use that allow you to get right into it with small projects and help you decide whether or not you want to continue this with your own photos or large panels. It's a fun way of getting involved in the technique at a low immersion level. Another one, I taught this at Houston. It's called Improve Your Photography, Improve Your Quilting. And many people have these cameras and they have no idea what to do with them. I go over all the basics of the camera. I help you learn the tools and that so you can change what you're doing and improve your photography and transfer that into your quilts. By the way, this is one of my pictures that I thread painted. If you don't want to learn all the ins and outs of a digital camera, no problem. I have tips and techniques that you can do with camera phones or just point and shoot cameras. And then after I show you how to improve your photography, you can take that and put it into fun quilting projects. Huge controversy in the world is quilts in the Underground Railroad, fact or fiction. I give you both sides of the story and I let you decide. I give you the historian's point of view, and I give you storyteller's point of view. You make the decision. I also have a program on how to get free publicity. Great for quilts who want to advertise their shows, great for quilts guilds who want to get people to come to their meetings. So I have a lot of presentations. This is really a quick run through, way too fast to digest. So please go to my website. I give in-person, distance, and I do small group or one-on-one. Please consider contacting me for more information. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Jan. Christine Hager-Braun is our next presenter.
Hello there. My name is Christine Hager-Braun. I'm an art quilter and the owner of the studio Solar Power Fabric Art. Like many instructors, the pandemic forced me to put my in-person classes and lectures on hold. So now I offer virtual lectures. The goal of my lectures is to educate, to entertain, and to inspire. I share my experiences, skills, and knowledge and present lots of images of my art quilts. However, the main focus is on you, the audience. Quilting allows us to express ourselves in our unique ways, and it affects our personal well-being. Because of the positive impact quilting can have on us, my lectures have a strong focus on mindset. I firmly believe that our attitude influences how we celebrate our creativity, embrace imperfections, learn from mistakes and failures, and how we define success. In addition, I present ideas and practical steps for you to move forward in your creative journey. Here are the lectures I offer. My journey as an art quilter tells my story from scientist to full-time artist. In Create with Confidence, we will discuss talent and dedication, the obstacles we face, and steps to move forward. Finding Your Artistic Voice explores what an artistic voice is and which steps you need to take to develop your artistic voice. We are certainly passionate about quilting, but are you aware of your purpose in quilting? Let's find out in Connecting Passion and Purpose. As I said, my lectures are a combination of information, motivational messages, some not so serious stories, and lots of images of my art quilts. Thank you, Lurig and Sue, for creating this platform. And thank you, the Guild's representatives, for listening. I invite you to check out my website, solarpowerfabricart.com, and solar is spelled SOULAR. There you can find all relevant information. Again, my name is Christine Hager-Braun, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you, Christine. Linda Hahn is up next.
Hi, my name is Linda J. Hahn from Palm Bay, Florida. I'm the author of 9 books. 4 of those have been award winners. I'm an EQ artist and a designer for Banyan Boutique. My New York Beauty State of Mind lecture explores the versatility of the New York Beauty Block. My Rock That Quilt Block lecture shows how many different variations you can get from one quilt block and also the different settings that change the whole look. In my Don't Quit Your Day Job lecture, I'll take you for a look inside the quilting industry with no sugarcoating. I'm best known for my technique for creating perfect New York Beauty blocks using just one pin with no puckers and no cussing. Here's just a few of the current favorites. They're workshop exclusives and not available commercially. Wicked Wahine. There's no set-in seams in this quilt. You can get crabs from me, not the itchy kind, but the fun kind. Madison Avenue Modern, tradition with a twist. As an EQ artist, I can walk you through how to design a quilt from start to finish. I'll include keyboard shortcuts, importing, exporting, giving your quilt a professional look, printing, and more. In the Rock That Quilt Block workshop series, we will explore the design possibilities of a specified block and how the block can be changed by simply rotating a patch or perhaps adding a color. Students will work along with me as we cut as you go. This is part color, part design, but it's quite a bit of fun. Royal Ensemble uses the Country Crown block. Juicy Lucy uses the Weather Vane block. Celtic interlaces. Students will learn how to create Celtic knotwork using usable bias tape. There's no marking or tracing involved in this technique. Once the knots are made, they can be used to pretty much any background. Carnival number 5. Believe it or not, this is just one block. As the blocks are made, you'll have surprise secondary and tertiary patterns. Here's how to get a hold of me. froghollerdesigns.com, lawnquilt@aol.com. But wait, there's more. More workshops are available for either in-person or virtual on my website. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Lyric and Sea for all your hard work.
Thank you, Linda. Now I'd like to introduce Jane Hauprich.
Hi, I'm Jane Hauprich. I am a quilt instructor and an award-winning quilter. I have been teaching for AQS, MQX, and MAQ for the past 5 years. I'm also a Handy Quilter National Educator, which has allowed me to teach at shops throughout the United States and to teach at 2 international shows in Germany and England. I am also a Superior Threads threadologist. I have 3 lectures that I can offer you virtually. First is my journey in free motion quilting, which is basically my journey from the very first quilt I've ever made up through customer quilts and on to award-winning quilts. My second lecture is based on a question I get asked all the time, is how should I quilt this quilt? This is a very popular lecture, and I share my quilting plan for the first part of the lecture, and then we turn it around and we have an interactive part where we can share pictures or quilt tops and we can discuss them as a group. This is always fun and well received at guilds and at shows. My third lecture is making negative positive. Negative space can be really intimidating. So I talk about how we can tackle that negative space and make it more manageable for you. If you haven't figured it out, I'm all about free motion quilting. I have a true passion and love for free motion quilting, and I want others to love it just as much as I do. When teaching free motion, my goal is that no matter what type of a machine you are using, anyone can learn to free motion. My goal is always to empower quilters with the confidence they need to free motion quilt and to be able to finish their own quilts. I've even developed some workbooks and practice panels that can assist in this process. My lineup of classes are Beginning Your Journey in Free Motion Quilting, Beyond the Basics of Free Motion Quilting, World of Swirls, Feathers in Free Motion, Quilts Rule with Ruler Work, Quilting the Dream, Micro Magic, and Not Your Grandma's Hanky. Kits can be provided for these classes if desired, and I'm always happy to work with your group if you feel they need to have any of these classes customized to fit your group's needs. I want to give a huge shout out to Sue and Lyric for putting all this together. I really appreciate what they've done. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jane. Debbie Kalenty is up next.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kalenty, owner of Quilter's Obsession, an online quilt store and quilt show vendor. I have 30 plus years quilting experience. I'm a certified instructor for Studio 180 Design, and I'm a designer and quilting educator. We all know that quilt piecing is all about shapes, some easy, some more difficult. But even easy units can be frustrating for some. If seams don't meet properly or points get cut off, quilters get frustrated. That's why I love Studio 180 Design tools. Plain and simple, they are the best tools on the market. They increase accuracy and use improved methods and processes. We make perfect units by making them slightly oversized and trimming to perfection. When your pieced units are trimmed and perfect, your blocks and final quilts are more beautiful because you have seams and points that match, no more cut-off points, much better results. With our improved processes, you can make even blocks that are thought of as difficult, such as Hunter's Star and Lemoyne Star, making them easy with no Y seams, and they even lay flat. Each tool makes a particular shape, but makes that shape in many sizes. They're made slightly oversized and again trimmed to perfection. It's great seeing my students get excited when they see what they can accomplish. My lectures are three-part: part informational, part demonstration, and part trunk show. I present approximately 25 quilts so you can see what is possible with our tools. Quilters just love to see quilts. My workshops are either tool-based or pattern-based. They can last between 4 and 6 hours, 1 or 2 day, or even multi-day retreats. Here are just a few of the samples that I've made for some of the classes that I've taught. There are many more to choose from. I hope I've gotten you excited about these tools. Once you learn to use these tools, you will use them for all your quilting projects and will want to have all the other tools as well to bring your quilting skills to a whole new level. If you have any questions, please contact me at sales@quiltersobsession.com or give me a call at 908-369-4450. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Debbie. Bonnie Langenfeld is up next.
I have a riddle and some great ideas for you. What looks like an oil painting, but hasn't got a drop of paint? And it could be quilted, but it doesn't need to be. The answer? A realistic fabric picture. Hi, I'm Bonnie Langenfeld, and I'm so excited to show you the fun learning opportunities I have for you. I love creating lifelike fabric pictures in raw edge applique and thread sketching. And even more, I love to inspire students to do the same. I'm a very experienced teacher, having taught elementary students for many years, and have taught realistic fabric art to hundreds of students since then. I'm excited to reach many more of you virtually. With key commercial fabrics, my special stitches, and simple art principles, you can create fabulous fabric art. Here are 3 of my most popular classes. Beardy and Bobbin Work class shows you how to create fabulous textured fur with special thread in the bobbin. You'll make your own beardy to applique to whatever you wish. Beginning Landscape focuses on choosing the right fabrics for that painterly impression and using value and perspective effectively. I make it simple. You'll learn to add details when stitching, and if you can zigzag and change thread colors, you can do this. Most often these pieces are framed, which adds to the painterly illusion. Old World Window teaches you how to create special effects like shadows, a reflection, and a window box. Fun! I have 2 presentations. The Art of Realistic Fabric Art has examples of how to and how not to achieve a great fabric picture from a photo. It's filled with lots of tips and funny stories. I love to do my 2-stitch magic presentation because I demonstrate 2 special stitches that make incredible details in each picture. Yes, 2. There is much more for you on my website. A class for individuals, a flash drive with my stitching instructions, and a freebie ebook for subscribers. The best part of all is that you'll be amazed at what you can do. Don't say I could never be an artist, because you will be after a class with me. See you soon.
Thank you, Bonnie. Now I'd like to introduce Robin Long.
Hi, I'm Robin Long of Robin Ruth Design, creator of the Robin Ruth Design rulers and method for strip-pieced mariner's compass blocks and projects. That's right, strip-pieced, which means no paper piecing. Since launching in 2015, I have been traveling and teaching all over the country, and my rulers are now sold around the world. I'm happy to be here to talk to you for a couple of minutes about my virtual and in-person teaching and presentation options, but first think you might be interested in seeing what is possible with my rulers. I offer a complete system of rulers, books, and patterns, which begin with the Skinny Robin and Fat Robin 16-point book and ruler combos. These combos allow you to make compass blocks in two different styles, Skinny Robin blocks and Fat Robin blocks. Any of these blocks can be made in 16 sizes, even sizes from 6 to 36 inches, giving you tons of ways of putting these together for my patterns or for your own creative project. The possibilities really are endless, as you can see from this sampling of quilts I have made from modern to traditional. I say my method is as easy as pie, as the method is the same for both skinny and fat blocks. It is just the angle that is different, 45 for skinny and 60 for fat. Check out my free web app by typing app.robinruthdesign.com into any desktop or mobile device browser to see more of what is possible with my rulers and to see 1-minute animated overviews of how my method works. You can visit my website to learn more about my presentations and workshops, and I highly recommend my Modern Mariner's Compass presentation and trunk show, where I give an overview of my method and a trunk show to show lots of examples of my patterns and other projects that are possible with my rulers. I also recommend my strip-pieced Mariner's Compass workshop, where students learn the basics of making a mariner's compass block, either skinny or fat, as I teach the two styles side by side. We will make a raw block during class and learn all of the finishing methods for the centers and for finishing these blocks into any quilt project, including no circle finishing. Students will leave the workshop with the knowledge to go on to tackle any block in my system. Again, check out my website under the Presentation and Workshop tab for more information on my virtual and in-person offerings, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Robin. Julia McLeod is our next presenter.
Hello, my name is Julia McLeod. I'm coming to you from my studio here in the San Francisco Bay Area in Northern California, and this is where I teach my classes and deliver my lectures now that we're doing it virtually on Zoom. I'm going to share a brief slideshow with you, which is what I would use in my lectures and workshops. Here we go. Here's a picture of me with some of my work at PIQF last year and at the San Francisco Quilt Show. And here's what I want to talk to you about today. I have 2 lectures, Silk and Salvage and Where's the Cotton, and 2 workshops, Silk Basics and Fabric Foundation Piecing with Silk. The first lecture, Silk and Salvage, New Quilts from Rescued Materials, is about my collaboration with Sue Fox, who is a Bay Area quilt maker and a wonderful long arm quilter. It details our working methods, our sources of materials, and it follows 3 projects, one of Sue's, one of mine, and one that we made together. And that's followed by a trunk show of more quilts by me made from silk and salvaged materials. The second lecture, Where's the Cotton?, details exquisite quilts made with unexpected textiles. The question at the heart of this lecture is why use other materials? And we examine the reasons why quilt makers may have not been able to access cotton or may have chosen to use other materials. So we'll look at historical and contemporary quilts that use wool, silk, polyester, and other materials. And it'll be followed by a trunk show of my own quilts that don't use cotton. The first workshop, Silk Basics, is exactly what you'd expect. It's for folks who are just starting out working with silk in their quilts. We will learn to identify silk fabrics, distinguishing them from polyester or rayon, for example. And then we'll learn two techniques, fast and free improvisational piecing, and then a more precise foundation piecing method that gives beautiful, precise results. If you're interested in more foundation piecing, this particular workshop takes a deeper dive into foundation piecing using silk, and we'll produce silk blocks that are accurate and stable. The two designs will explore our flying geese and grandmother's fan, and we'll also look at how to draft your own foundations to continue with this method. Here's how you can reach me, Julia McLeod. My email address is silkandsalvage@gmail.com. Check out my website, silkandsalvage.com, and Sue and I show our work on Facebook and Instagram at Silk and Salvage. Thank you so much for your attention today, and thank you to Global Quilt Connection for this wonderful opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Julia. Kathy McNeil is up next.
Hi, I'm Kathy McNeil. I've been quilting for 20 years and I'm so excited that I get to share some of my techniques with you. One of the things that's sweeping the applique world are these exciting new tools from Spain. I'm sure you've been hearing about them, the applique tools. And one of the classes I get to share with you is a little 3-hour class where we get to make some of these cute little owls behind me, and you'll get to learn how to use these tools. So if you can, I'll just give you a quick little glance at how this works, but they're just amazing. You just glue up your prepared sample with it has an applique interfacing on the background, and then the edges of your seam allowance that you've cut just sweep right over your prepared template shape, and you can see how quickly and easily that goes and turns the edge. So, and then we make all of our little samples in units. So these little owls will be made off of the background in little units. When you can embellish them, you can do the little yarn hand embroidery on them, and then when they're all fit together, the 3 little buddies, then they can be placed up against the background. So unit applique is something that you may not be familiar with, and it's fun to add to your applique technique toolbox. And it's also how I make all of my landscape quilts. Another really fun thing to do is to add all kinds of art media to your quilting day. So we're going to have a whole fun class on doing lots of things with watercolor paints, ink tints, pencils, foiling, even Sharpie markers. So this example right here with this little vase, all of these designs have been painted on this vase, and now this unit is ready to be placed up against the background. If you look over here, you'll see some examples of fun times with foiling, a great addition to your borders. And then we'll each get a sample to play with here, so you can try painting these wonderful parrots and playing with these amazing things that ink and Sharpie markers and some alcohol. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Now we'll hear from Diane Murtha.
Hi, I'm Diane L Murtha. I'm a quilter, fiber artist, teacher, and lecturer. I've been quilting for 30 years, gravitating to art quilts 10 years ago. I have completely reinvigorated my love of quilting since I started challenging myself. The challenge rules encourage me to learn new things, try new techniques, make mistakes, and keep trying. I share this enthusiasm and excitement in all my lectures and workshops. My quilts and articles are included in several books and magazines. I have 3 virtual lectures. Accept the Challenge is an informative and humorous perspective on my challenge experiences. It is very popular with wide audience appeal. You will laugh and hopefully be inspired. The next step, I'll discuss what to expect if you participate in an invitational challenge. It's jam-packed with valuable information, everything from how to ask the right questions to packing and mailing your quilts. Quilt guilds with both an afternoon and evening meeting like the Challenges lectures as a great 1-2 combination. Need a little R&R? You'll love Peaceful Stitching Lecture. My article in American Quilter magazine is based on this. I'll give you a variety of great ideas to add slow stitching to your quilts and other projects. I offer several 4-hour workshops. Modified Quilt As You Go is a great technique for anyone intimidated by quilting a large quilt or quilting in small spaces like retreats, condos, or for me, my RV. There's tons of options. It's super popular and so much fun. Quilt As You Go Hexies. Like the look of English paper piecing but don't want to do that hand sewing? Try this class. You'll love it. Hexies, Basics and Beyond. This is traditional English paper piecing. It's very relaxing and can be done almost anywhere. We will work with hexies, but I'll also show you a variety of other shapes and designs. Fantastic Flowers, Leaves, and Wings. You'll learn to embellish your quilts with 3-dimensional petals and leaves using my floral wire technique. I'm excited to share my experiences, and it's reflected in the great feedback I received. Here's a sample. What to expect? Well, we were all new to Zoom at some point. I'll help make your experience successful. We all learn differently, so I'll apply several teaching techniques: live demonstrations, pre-recorded segments, written instructions, one-on-one feedback, and of course, everyone gets a front row seat in every lecture or workshop. Please visit my website for more details. I'd be honored to speak or teach to your group. It doesn't matter if you are a traditional quilter, a modern quilter, or an art quilter. We all can learn by challenging ourselves, and I'll inspire and encourage you to do just that in any of my lectures or workshops. I hope to hear from you. Until then, stay safe and happy quilting.
Thank you, Diane. Next up is Sherri Noel.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sherri Noel, and I'm the designer behind RebeccaMayDesigns.com. I am an author and a teacher and a quilt pattern designer, but I'm also very thankful to be able to do what I love to do every day, which is quilt. My designs are primarily based around the people that I love in my life, and I am really grateful that some of you find my designs inspiring and quilt along with me. It really does make the journey really that much better. I wanted to welcome you into my home today and tell you a little bit about the workshops and lectures that I offer. So my hope is that you will welcome me into your home too, and maybe we could sew together and learn some new things. As a creative, I am always seeking ways to express myself. During my lecture, Finding My Quilt Voice, I will tell you how I discovered pattern design. I will share my designs in a virtual trunk show and talk about how my quilting evolved and how my voice played a part in some of my earliest designs. My Text It workshop explores applique techniques for words that will give your quilts a voice. It's inspired by my Text It book and my Dear Daughter and Dear Diary patterns. During the class, I'll cover applique techniques such as needle turn, bias tape, wool, and fusibles. So if you have something to say, this class will definitely help you speak your mind. I have to admit that I really am a pearl cotton junkie. In my hand quilting and embroidery workshop, I will share with you all the ways that I love to incorporate pearl cotton into my work. We will cover big stitch hand quilting, supplies and tools, and some of my favorite embroidery stitches. So if you love it too, maybe you can put your pearl cotton signature all over your quilts. I love gnomes, and the Scandinavian gnome is no exception. Beginning as a quilt, this guy came to life, and now I'm offering a fun project-based class to make this cutie. He's made from a fat quarter and stands at 20 inches tall. He is a real showstopper. I love quilting and sewing, but I also love making mittens from wool sweaters, and I have literally made hundreds. In this fun and, believe it or not, my most popular workshop, I will walk you through making your first pair of mittens lined with fleece. You will not believe how warm they are. I'm going to share all my tips and tricks on what sweaters to use, how to dissect your sweater, how to make them larger for the men in your life, plus I'll share some of the fun projects I've made with the scraps. So dig out your old, ugly sweaters.
Thank you, Sherri. Now we'll hear from Marty Ornish.
Hi, I'm Marty Ornish. I wanted to introduce myself. I'm speaking to you from San Diego, California, and I am both a wearable artist and an art quilter. I lecture nationally and internationally, and I'm known mostly for my Tattered Splendor series of wearable art. They are all made out of ruined vintage quilts. And no, I don't cut up historically valuable quilts. So in this talk and trunk show, I explain my process, my inspiration, and show you how I create beautiful garments out of very, very ruined quilts. I also give a talk on inspiration and creativity. And again, that's what gets my artistic juices going, and also how I deal with periods when I lose my way and need new ideas. I also teach a class and give a lecture about creating your own unique fashion. And I'm wearing one of the upcycled denim jackets I am known for. And in the class, as I teach you how to upcycle a jacket that already fits you. Everything is sustainably made, and in the lecture I give you a trunk show of many of the variations of the jackets I make. Lastly, I offer a lecture called Controversies in the World of Quilting, and this is an unusual and I think really exciting lecture because you look at the world of quilting historically. You look at social justice quilts, the place of censorship and art, and also talk about the ethics of cutting up old vintage quilts. Then I teach classes, and I'm now offering them on Zoom. I teach one on vintage art quilt collages, and of course that's using up what is left over from my garments. And I'm standing next to one of the newest garments I have made. I call it Home Sweet Home. Actually, I think it has another name. And this is a garment based on an old quilt using a lot of my mother and grandmother's old vintage samplers and embroideries. So I use everything in my work. I teach a class called Spatterdashes, Victorian boot covers. These are really fun to make. Again, like all my classes, everyone in the class will come out with a unique and individual piece of art that they can wear, or for the art quilt collages, can hang on their wall. So I'd love for you to visit my website, marty-o.com, look at the other lectures and classes I offer, and hopefully one day I'll be able to meet your guild in person. Thank you for looking at my work.
Thank you, Marty. Now I'd like to introduce Mary Powell.
Hi there, I'm Mary Powell from up here in Toronto, Canada. Thank you, Lyric and Sue, for connecting us all from around the world. Like everybody here, I love fabric, but my favorite fabric is cheesecloth. And I'd like to show you why. It's an inexpensive, readily available, incredibly versatile fabric that you can paint, dye, and stitch, and add movement, texture, and even drama to art quilts. About 15 years ago, I pioneered a method of using cheesecloth that has become my signature technique, resulting in my work being featured in countless magazines, books, and on television. And invitations to teach in countries from Asia to New Zealand. Filling the world with cheesecloth converts, one continent at a time. I've been teaching for over 40 years and love developing my students' confidence and ensuring their success. Here's what I offer quilt guilds. First, my trunk show, One Wild Ride. It's the whole cheesecloth story and always has guild members laughing and participating, even on Zoom. Then, for workshops, I've divided my cheesecloth explorations into themes of nature, portraiture. The intro nature class is Windswept Pine. Using a simple pattern, cheesecloth, and paint, students discover the fun of working with cheesecloth, and every finished quilt is different. Once the tree is mastered, students are ready to use cheesecloth to add texture to anything from nature: horses, bears, Birds. Fish, with gold foil added to add a little extra zing. Dogs. Landscapes, anything. Students learn to produce their own patterns from photographs, so they can create amazing artwork using any subject matter. If portraits are your thing, we work on a simple portrait in the intro class, the very one I used to develop this technique. Even students who say they can't draw a face are thrilled with the results. They move on to advanced portraiture, where students create portraits from their own photos or copyright-free ones. Learning how to use cheesecloth to achieve all the nuances of the human face, or perhaps an animal face.
So that's me. I'm looking forward to creating more cheesecloth converts soon, maybe on a laptop near you.
Thank you, Mary. Kae Parks is our next presenter.
Hi, I'm Kae Parks. My company is Kae Quilts, and I am delighted to be here. If you're watching this, you are looking for quality content that entertains, encourages, and educates your guild members, and I can help with that. With over 20 years of quilting experience, 7 years teaching in local shops and quilt guilds, filmed over 150 videos and webinars for Quilt Maker Magazine, Quilting Daily, and Fawns and Porter, and dozens of YouTube and Facebook videos, you can count on me. My lectures include Scrappy and Happy, Every Quilt is a Learning Quilt, and Leaf Quilts, Not Fabric. My workshops include Beautiful Machine Binding, Practically Perfect Plush, and Dangerous Curves, which, by the way, can all be done without pins. But my real passion is color. So many quilters are frustrated and discouraged when they pick out fabrics. My workshop and lecture, Color Courage, will give them the confidence to walk into the quilt shop and leave with fabrics they love. You have a lot of talent to choose from here today, and I hope you choose me. If you have more questions, go to my website, JennyKQuilts.com, or you can contact me directly, JennyK@JennyKQuilts.com. And let me know you've seen this video, because I have a special offer, a discount, just for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Kae. Next up is Andi Stanfield.
Hi, I'm Andi Stanfield of True Blue Quilts. I'm a long-arm quilter, pattern designer, and teacher. My goal is to help quilters enjoy, experiment, and excel as they express their creativity in a tangible way. I offer trunk shows, lectures, and workshops online via the Zoom platform and in person as soon as conditions allow. My most popular trunk show is based on my book, Monochromatic Quilts, Amazing Variety. I share the quilts and discuss the color theory and inspiration for each one. Hands-on activities are included, so participants are inspired to work with a monochromatic palette that is built from their own stash. In Journey of a 21st Century Quilter, I preview both books that I have written, as well as some of my other work, such as the Arizona Flag Quilt. Part of our reality these days is online learning and social media, so in this lecture I focus on the digital resources I have found helpful on my quilting journey thus far. I love scrappy quilts, and I tend to fall in love with specialty rulers and templates that make our quilting life easier. Angle Play the Easy Way features quilts from my second book. As a certified angle play instructor, I teach quilters the beauty of constructing fabulous designs from half rectangle triangles using specially engineered templates designed to achieve accuracy quickly and easily. Let me share a few of the workshops I offer for groups anywhere from a single student up to 25 people. Beginner and advanced angle play classes teach you to use these templates for a variety of block styles. An Introduction to Paper Piecing class features my flutter-free butterfly block. Or have fun exploring the Starburst, ruler, or the Twister blocks. Please visit truebluequilts.com to book these lectures and workshops. I hope to see you in class soon, but until then, happy stitching.
Thank you, Andi. Now we'll hear from Laura Strickland.
Hi, y'all. My name is Laura Strickland, and I am the owner and sole designer at Orange Blossom Quilt Design Studios. You can find more about my company by going to my website, which is orangeblossomquilt.com. At the end of this video, there will also be a link for the website as well as my social media accounts if you'd like to see some of my work. I'm a quilt artist currently living in the Midwest on the banks of the Mississippi River, where Illinois and Iowa come together. But I grew up in Virginia, and my journey began there. I had two grandmothers who both liked to quilt and who gave me an interest in sewing as well as art. When I was pregnant with my first son 27 years ago, I began quilting and have not put it down since. I love quilting as women's art, and I love to create beautiful portrait quilts. Here's a list of some of the things that I offer on a regular basis for quilt guilds and groups. I have 3 lectures that I do on a fairly regular basis. The first one is called Quilting is Women's Art. The second one is called Approaching Quilting as an Art. So it talks about how to get your mind in a place for your quilting so that you can display your creativity. Thirdly, my third lecture is it has to be more than just the right color. So finding the right fabric isn't always just about the right color. I also offer lectures with accompanying classes, and for those I have Capture Your Subject Matter and Panel Panache. It would be a lecture with a guild or group and an accompanying class at a smaller scale. More information about all of that is available on my website under the Classes and Lecture tab. I also offer classes in portrait quilts, collage quilts, the Stitch in Time clock that I designed and won a challenge with in Project Quilting that's displayed behind me on the wall, as well as a Piecing Perfection Boot Camp. If you're interested in booking me for any of your events, the rates are on my website at the bottom of the class and lecture page. And my availability would have to be negotiated because I am already booking quite thoroughly through the end of the year and the beginning of next year, but I will do my best to work you in. You can reach me via email to confirm dates. If there's anything else I can help you with, or if you'd like me to come and talk to anybody in your group, I would love to come and visit with you either virtually or in person. Thank you for this time, and please visit my website, orangeblossomquilt.com.
Thank you, Laura. Marge Tucker is up next.
Hi, my name is Marge Tucker. I'm an award-winning contemporary quilter and quilting instructor. I have 2 presentations in a variety of classes that are available for your guilds via Zoom. My presentation, My Life in Quilts, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, is a story of my quilting journey. I go over quilts that have influenced me, older quilts I have made, as well as the bold abstract quilts I am currently making. I also go over my artistic process, how I start from an idea to get to a finished quilt. My presentation, Improv and Abstractions in Antique Quilts. In this trunk show, you will see a variety of very unique quilts. They're all made using improvisational piecing techniques. They're bold, graphic, and very modern looking. The classes that I offer are all based on improvisational piecing techniques. My class Modern Log Cabin is great for all levels. We start with a familiar block, the log cabin, and then we break all of the rules. Everyone ends up with very unique looking blocks, which leads to your own unique quilt. Small studies in improv. In this class, I'll show you a variety of improv piecing techniques. Students make units based on the demonstrations I show in the class. Then we start focusing on design and how we can put those units made into a small art quilt. My class, Eelgrass and Eddies, will show you a great technique. I will show you how to do free-form cutting with your rotary cutter and curved piecing. This technique results in 2 reverse image units, which can be cut into rectangles, squares, or made into half-square triangles. Harlequin Diamonds is one of the newer classes I'm teaching. This class will use up lots of those strips and strings of fabric from leftover projects. We improvisationally piece them into rectangles, and then when you put them together, these light and dark diamonds appear. Contemporary quilting with your walking foot is a popular class I'm teaching now. I'm going to show you my unique way of quilting, which involves little or no marking. You can do such innovative quilting with your walking foot. We start with straight line quilting and all the great variations you can do with that. Then we move on to quilting curves, spirals, and circles. Thank you. I hope to hear from your guild. You can contact me by sending an email to margetuckerquilts@gmail.com or visit my website for more information on the presentations and classes.
Thank you, Marge. Now we'll hear from Colleen Wise.
Hi, I'm Colleen Wise. I'm the author of Casting Shadows, Creating Visual Dimensions in Your Quilts. I like to take what's basically a two-dimensional surface, a quilt, and play with your perception so that it looks three-dimensional. In my work, leaves float, and balls bounce, and planets seem to orbit each other. I live in the Pacific Northwest, where we have 3 months of incredible summer, and then we have 9 months of incredible quilting weather. We may not get a lot of sunshine here, so in my studio, I create my own sunshine. I have 3 Zoom lectures. My first one, Casting Shadows, is a trunk show of my quilts that are organized by technique. I have a whole toolbox full of techniques that I use to create a sense of depth. Color and value, piecing, applique, dyeing and discharging, painting, shears, even the quilting itself. And I'll run through all those with examples of each. The same quilts, a lot of the same quilts, are in my second lecture, Hand of the Artist, but they're grouped by series. And in this lecture, you'll find out what I reveal about myself, my interests in botany, astronomy, geometry, all kinds of things. I'll also show you some Easter eggs where I reveal things that are only visible under certain conditions. Maybe a flash, or maybe a red filter. And I'll tell you, but I won't show you, the secret messages that I hide inside each of my quilts. I make mistakes, and I have a lecture called Wise Words, Lessons Learned the Hard Way, based on those mistakes. I'll show you what I've learned, what I've figured out. I'll also invite you into my studio, not because it's neat, but because it works for me, and I'll share with you what works. I also hope I'll be able to maybe tweak your attitude toward entering shows and facing rejection, and even cutting up some of the beautiful fabrics that you've purchased that are very special. I also offer some Zoom workshops. Workshops are normally 6 hours long, but it can easily be broken into 2 3-hour sessions. You'll find all the information about my lectures and workshops on my website, ColleenWise.com. I miss you. I hope I hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Now we'll hear from Kathy Wylie.
Greetings from Muskoka's beautiful lake country, north of Toronto, Canada. My name is Kathy Wylie, and my passion is applique. I am a pattern designer, teacher, author, and owner of an e-commerce business. My quilt designs have received recognition in Canada and internationally, including the 2011 IQA Founders Award and the 2018 Best of Show Award at Paducah Quilt Week. I would love to visit you virtually and present a lecture or workshop at your online event. Beauty is All Around is like a trunk show with lots of quilt photos, highlighting the prevalent use of rotational and mirror image symmetry in my work, and delving into the concept of paper cut applique, the subject of my book Snowflakes. The art of applique takes a more educational approach. In addition to showing quilt photos as examples, many different applique methods are highlighted and explained. The time of our lives is a bit more contemplative, weaving together the themes of time and quilting, the time we spend making them, the evolution of our quilts over time, how to make time for quilting, and the story behind my quilt for such a time as this. My current online classes focus on applique. The Birth Flower Applique class is the perfect companion to the Birth Flower Block of the Month patterns, where you will get all the information you need to make the birth flower block of your choice. In the Mastering Applique class, you will learn how to use the innovative applique tools to prepare turned edge applique quickly and easily. If you have always wanted to learn turned edge applique or struggled with it in the past, this class is for you. And more applique technique classes are on the way. For more information, please visit my website at kathykwylie.com or find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or YouTube. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Right, that is all of our teachers for this panel presentation. Well done, everybody. So now it's time for questions and answers. Questions from you and answers from our teachers. The first question that has been sent to me is, teachers, what have you had to learn that is new in order to present your classes virtually? Anybody want to take that one on? Diane, unmute yourself and go for it.
All right, I think you can hear me now.
Yep.
Good. I lectured in my career life, and so lecturing and speaking was not the challenge. The challenge was doing it in front of a camera, seeing myself look back at you, and not getting tongue-tied. There was a lot of other things to learn about the technology, but it was really seeing my face and trying not to get sidetracked with that.
Penny and then Andi.
I think the hardest thing to learn, because I can be a bit of a jokester in front of people, so I take a lot of feedback from the audience. And when you're in front of a camera, you don't always get that. You know, you can't hear people laughing at your jokes and all those good things. So the other thing I had to learn was to quickly change cameras, because you guys get really bored staring at the back of my head or a static design wall. So we try to, move around the room quickly and get to the next camera and make sure the angle's right so you can see exactly what you need to see.
Hello. Yeah, I'll just piggyback on Penny's comments that the biggest thing to adapt to, because as many of the other presenters were, I've been a teacher for a long time, so that aspect of it isn't a problem, but it's the juggling, having to set up a second camera so you have good angles for everybody. It really, the technology advances that we've all managed to do these last few months have been pretty amazing. If you think back to what we were comfortable with in 2019, that just seems quaint and old-fashioned in the span of a few months.
Let's do this. What is your favorite piece of new equipment that you as teachers have acquired that helps you present the best possible experience for your viewers? Michele, then Julia.
All right. Hi. One of the things that I use with doing live classes is a document camera that used to go through my projector. And I have found that a new and improved document camera that I can now put right on top of my sewing machine and bend that camera down gives an excellent view of exactly what I am piecing and showing. And I just love the fact that you are as close to my sewing as you could possibly be as compared to being in a class. So I think that's the best thing. You have a bird's eye view, or I should say a thread's eye view of exactly what I'm teaching and sewing. So they're great. Thanks.
Yeah, I do love the feeling like you are sitting on the teacher's lap while she's sewing. Julia.
Actually, yes, exactly that. And it was really inexpensive, just a gooseneck camera holder. So I log into the Zoom teaching with my camera. So you have those two screens. And it is as if you're standing next to me, or I have my hands on your workspace, that I can show you things in real time. In addition to the way I would teach using a slideshow or a video, I then can show it to you in real time.
Thank you. For those of you who have taught and lectured via Zoom, which is all of us by now, what have you found to be one of the wonderful things about teaching virtually? Marty and then Sherri.
So one of the really nice things is that you can break up a 6-hour class. Normally you'd get lunch and we'd all work like little beavers making whatever I'm teaching. And I'm finding I really like breaking up my classes into even 2-hour segments and having it on 3 different days. So you get the 6-hour class and the students all have time to do the work and then come back and we critique it and then do the next section. So I find that something that we wouldn't do if we were teaching in person.
I do this. I found the same thing. It's wonderful. Yeah. Sherri.
Unmute yourself.
I just wanted to say that it's great because people don't forget anything at home, first of all. And second of all, I just have sort of fallen in love with the quilting community because everybody has just been so fantastic and considerate and understanding. And, while we all try to work our way through this.
Yeah, I found the exact same thing, that people are patient and kind, and we're just so happy to be able to get together this way. Does anybody else want to speak to that? Kathy, Doughty, you're up.
Well, it works both ways for me. For one thing, I don't have to pack a suitcase spent many, many nights to see which one's the most important to take. But conversely, I really like the fact that people are in their own space and they can use what they have, what they've accumulated already, instead of saying to me in a workshop, oh, I have the perfect fabric at home. So this at home alone in your own space really opens up your creativity and allows you to utilize all of your accumulations. Yeah,
I've heard that over and over from so many students, that they have all the perfect fabric right there with them. They're not in class wishing they had something that was at home. Here's a question. Where'd it go? Do you find that using videos or pre-recorded pieces to be better than all live Zoom for classes, or how do you use those? Deborah Kalenty, let's have you talk to us.
Hi. Yes, I record some of my demos, so they're up close and personal, a little bit, a little bit more focused, so you can see the lines on the tools. It's a little easier, and it's a little easier for the student to hold the tool in their hand and reference the same lines that I'm pointing to. So sometimes they're pre-recorded, just little segments. The rest of the class is done live, but the little, segments on a demo for a particular tool are very helpful, I find.
Yeah. Any of the rest of you use pre-recorded? Diane? And then Bonnie.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Yes, I have several pre-recorded segments, and it always seems that there are, different paces of students in your class, and that is perfectly fine. Some who maybe have already pre-cut all their fabrics or something. So it is great to be able to show a pre-recorded segment and let some students move forward without the others feeling like they're rushed, and I can easily replay that segment when other students are ready, or maybe they'll say, wait, I want to see that again, and it's easy to re-show that. So it is working really great. The first couple classes I taught, I had several, and after teaching a couple times, I've added a couple more. If I don't need them, I don't use them, I can do live, but it is great to have that there as an option.
Thank you. Bonnie.
Ditto. She took everything I was going to say. So it's a really good point. But on your previous question, I just would like to add that I think it's so much easier to teach virtually for me, because one time I was booked on the wrong flight and I was sent somewhere else other than the place I was supposed to be. And then there's also the situation of, did I forget something that I'm not bringing along? I mean, it doesn't happen often, but that's always a big fear when I'm teaching.
I have done that before. Thank you. I think all of us have found that each teacher will have their own way of presenting their live classes for you. Many of us, like, glitches happen on Zoom, right? Always. There's always something that happens, but we as teachers are prepared. We are doing everything we can. We've always got one or two backup ways to present our material to you in case your internet goes out, which we can't control, in case something happens with us. So we're taking care of you as best we can. And I love that people are being patient with each other. I'm going to answer one question. We always get the question of, are your offerings discounted because they're virtual instead of live? And that's up to every teacher, but by and large, you're getting the exact same preparation, you're getting the same experience, the same work that we as teachers have done throughout our lives to come to the point where we can present you something wonderful. So treat it like a live class. When you're asking about fees, just think about it that way as you talk to the teachers. All right, another question. Where did it go? Do you think that Zoom is here to stay? Virtual offerings are here to stay even after we are back. Anybody want to take that on? Laura Strickland? And then Christine.
Okay. Hi, guys. Yes, I do think that Zoom is here to stay. I already do sew-alongs and I do blogs on a regular basis. So I already interact virtually with some of my customer base. And I find that the idea of having a Zoom class allows you to do what would typically be like a sew-along, but that you can answer the questions that they have in real time. And so I really enjoy that. It allows for me to interact with somebody that is, 500 or 600 miles away, but it can feel like we sewed together that afternoon. So I do think that Zoom will stick around after COVID, and I love doing it. So I'm super excited about teaching on Zoom, or I like in person too, but I'm a people person. So however you want to do it, I'm fine either way.
Great. Christine.
I agree. Zoom will continue to be one of the platforms to interact with one another. First of all, those guilds who have evening meetings are able to have their members attend even if they have mobility issues or they are afraid of driving in the dark. The other thing is, because we instructors don't need to travel, it is cheaper for the guild to bring us in because they are saving on travel expenses or lodging or per diems to feed the instructors. Yes, we do that too. But that makes it easier to bring in people from across the country or even internationally. And time zones are so easy to bridge now that we are virtual. So yes, Zoom will stay, I would think.
Anybody else want to speak to that? Marty?
Quickly. I was going to say the benefit of teaching by Zoom, especially for me, I have big, heavy dresses that I have brought in suitcases all over the country and internationally. And now I can show much more of my work. I can show details of it without limiting myself to my smallest pieces and my smallest dresses. And that's true for my jacket class. So it's, I think, a gift to those teachers who make big, heavy quilts. We can show more of our work.
Thank you. Here's another question. How do you help guild members with Zoom anxiety? How do you help teachers? Who hasn't talked yet? Michele and Lori, and then Kathy.
Hi, I think that the Zoom part is great, and I think that this is going to stay for a long time. I know that it's, as a teacher especially, who has been teaching mostly at large quilt shows, Road to California, Quilt Festival, we're taking a lot of products with us, and I think that having Zoom classes at home in your own studio, I've had people who have brought their sewing machines to class and have forgotten their foot pedal or their power cord. And then it's like, what can I do? Or the show is providing fabulous sewing machines by the latest sewing machine companies with helpers. But on the other hand, it's always comfortable to be able to work in your own home studio. So that's just a little bit backing up on the other question. Thanks, Lyric.
Thanks. Lori Dickman.
Regarding practice sessions, it's really important, I think, that we offer those to our guilds. And I'll offer a couple of those if they want that. And it just helps people get familiar in a very relaxed atmosphere where they're not feeling tense or anxious. And there are a lot of women that just aren't yet comfortable with it, but they're getting comfortable. And those practice sessions really do help. And I highly recommend those.
They do. Kathy.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I offer to the guilds is a test meeting so that we can go over everything. We can talk about what the plan is, how we're going to do the transitions, what will we do if the internet fails, and we meet each other ahead of time too. So everything just feels more comfortable the day of.
Right. Anybody else want to speak to that? Jan Doyle and then Kathy McNeil.
I think I have a perfect example of someone who had Zoom anxiety 3 or 4 years ago. When I was first introduced to Zoom, I was afraid to go on it to hear someone else. And it was like this big, huge rock in my head. So because I had that rock and I had that stigma, I think I'm a perfect one to help other people through it. And really all it amounts to is just doing it. So talking to me about what I went through, I think will help others go through, and or if they need someone to sit with them from their guild, that also works. It's just a matter of diving in.
I agree. Kathy McNeil.
Hi, everybody. This is fun. One of the most important things for us to do during this whole COVID pandemic is stay connected with each other. And my guild is Zooming, my book group is Zooming, my family has had Zoom. So I think people are getting more comfortable with it. But I think when you're acting as the host, the guild host, I do think those practice sections are really important so that we can alleviate their anxiety if issues come up, decide whether really we're figuring out how to stay connected, because it's for our community. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Let me just suggest to all of the guild representatives, if you have a Zoom account, try a sew-in. Try a casual, just set a Saturday morning for an hour or two and just let people drop in. Set somebody in your guild who knows how to use Zoom to one at a time, maybe help a few other guild members get in. Because this is, it's doing a service. There are a lot of people who need to be connected right now to other people. There are members of your guild who, even when we were in person, were not able to get there. So do a casual sew-in where it's not a presenter, just get together and practice chatting. And another teacher had this idea of, and you can ask the teachers you've hired and they can say no or not, but if you have a casual sew-in like that, one of your upcoming teachers might have time on their calendar to pop in for 5 or 10 minutes and say hi to people and talk about their class that's coming up to help you fill those classes. And again, helping your members get on Zoom and get connected is a service to them, a service to all your people who really need the connection right now. Sue, do you have any other questions? Kate Colleran, I see you want to say something.
Our guild does that, and it's really great. You know, they use the guild Zoom account so people can have their little bees can have their meetings, which is really, really nice. Some people have some casual sew-ins like on a Friday night and just people pop in and out and all sew together. So it really is a great way for people to get comfortable with Zoom, especially in a smaller group. We have a pretty big guild where I am. So having that smaller group and that ability to connect and learn about Zoom in a smaller group is really helpful.
Right. I know there's also, is it quilterscalendar.com? Somebody, if they know that website, they have a page with a few tutorials, Zoom tutorials, where you can help out your guild. All right, let's have just one last minute. Does anybody have any of you teachers have any final thing? Kathy?
One of the other things I don't think we've covered is that in some of the workshops and lectures, there's also a monitor. I have a monitor in my class on my end, but having a monitor from the group that might be able to address the issues that individual participants might have is really handy as well.
Right. I know a lot of the teachers have hired a really experienced monitor to help members do that, but a lot of guilds also provide a monitor during a lecture or class who can handle all of the other stuff. All right, well, teachers, show us your lovely smiling faces, and thank you so much for being here. Mm-hmm. I want to remind you all that this is our last Meet the Teacher webinar of the year. We've had 5 webinars. Each and every one of them has had a different slate of teachers, and each of them has been recorded and is available to watch at globalquiltconnection.com. Each of those events also has a PDF that you can download with all of the contact information for the teachers in that recording. We encourage you to share this far and wide, to invite your guild members to go and take a look, because they can give you suggestions of teachers that they want you to hire. And again, we remind you to contact the teachers. All of these teachers they're sitting right by their computers waiting for you to send them an email and say, come teach for us virtually. We love being with quilters. that's why we do this. It takes so much time away from our own quilting sometimes that there's no way we would teach unless we absolutely adored playing with you all, and we do. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much to the teachers that are here. If you all teachers would smile and wave pretty, I'm going to take a screenshot. Ready, set, go. Thank you. So happy quilting, stay well, stay safe, and make those connections. And go to globalquiltconnection.com to make the connection with the teachers that you want to hire. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. You can find recordings of previous Meet the Teacher webinars on this YouTube channel, as well as at globalquiltconnection.com. There you can also download information for all of the teachers with their email and website links. Thank you for watching. Sue Bleiweiss is the mastermind behind this webinar, and my name is Lyric Montgomery Kennard. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and you can see upcoming webinars as well. Thanks. Stay safe, be well, and keep quilting.